Banana slam jam.
So, hey guys, been a while since I streamed. On YouTube, you guys have been seeing random videos get released from the past, but I was taking time to sort out some real life stuff, so I'm back, at least kind of. I will be casting and analyzing the major, so this may be the only video I ever record in a headset. Appreciate it while it lasts. Feel free to record this for yourself to soothe yourself to go to sleep. I hear I sound quite nasally. So, we're going to first be talking about gameplay update 7.29D. So, I'm going to do my best Kyle impression. The update's been out for 4 days, but I haven't played a single game of Dota. So, I'm going to attempt to analyze the implications and repercussions of all of these changes without actually playing a single game. So, my opinion may not be nearly as accurate as you would hope it would be. So, this is fixed units never resuming proper pathfinding if they were ever unable to find a path forward. So, I heard that the Division 1 team Arkosh Gaming actually did this in their second game against Dogchamp, utilizing Pudge Hook to block some creeps in the trees. So, I do believe that this patch note is purely because of
Arkosh Gaming.
you've never heard of them. You can buy their fan bundle by going to the front page and supporters club, and it's right there. Wow. Back to the patch notes. Item changes. Vanguard now blocks 6 less damage. I'd say it's pretty much just 6 because no ranged heroes really buy Vanguard. I'd say it mainly matters against towers. Most heroes hit for about 70, I guess, so maybe heroes will do 6 damage instead of 0. It's a needed nerf for sure. I think the item's still good, but maybe you just won't be able to tank tower for infinite amount of time. But I haven't been able to feel it out yet, as I will not act like Kyle and assume that I've played this patch. Lifesteal and amplification nerfed on all Sange components. Definitely necessary. Think they're still really good though, so I don't know if this is like enough. I mean, Heaven Halberd is kind of mediocre, but I think the other 3 are really good items. Solar Crest reduced shine attack speed by another 5. Still an item that almost everybody's gonna purchase. It's an item that you can simply rush on most supports or offlaners, so it's because it's so cheap, and because it's such cheap amount of buff to one hero, it's just so important. You know, it helps you take towers, helps you take Roche, it helps you take really anything where you have a guy that goes in, right? It can be initiation, it can be objectives, it can be focusing one target. The whole concept of Solar Crest was balanced around the fact that this item costs like 4,000 gold. It was something that you had to inconvenience yourself to buy in a significant manner, and the build-up for Solar Crest is just so nice. Medallion, Windlace. So I know people have probably heard a lot about Solar Crest, but this item has been very popular this patch for all the people that are living underneath a rock. And I know I see you out there, Patrick. And that is why they are nerfing it again. And I still think we'll see a lot of it at the major. So, hero changes going into the major. We got ourselves Ancient Apparition, reduction in the magic resistance reduction, so they nerfed it. So they reduced the reduction, which means they increased the lack of reduction. I don't know what I was going for there, but yeah, the hero was just too strong. He was getting first picked in like every region. With how meta these like tanky heroes are, like the centaurs, the axes, all that kind of stuff, it required you to have a support that helped kill these guys. And Ancient Apparition is by far the best support for doing that. So not only have they given this hero a bunch of buffs, but he also was really good against what was good. So that made the hero just too good. Slightly nerfed his ultimate, not a huge deal there. Axe got 1 extra second on cooldown of his call. When you combine like the Ags, and some people are even going like late game Octarine cores and stuff, it makes sense that they would do this, right? You actually had like a 75% uptime on call with Ags, Octarine, and like a Spell Prism. Which, yes, that sounds kind of memey, but it's also just kind of dumb. So, glad they got rid of that. At least slightly. Shard proc chance reduced from 10% to 5%. That's pretty significant. I didn't remember reading this. So, it went from 30% to 25%, which means that the overall damage output went from 30 to 25. So that means it dropped 1/6, which means the axe call combo with Manta and everything does 16% less damage. That's significant. That's a pretty significant nerf. Is it still viable? Maybe. Probably. Is it broken? Probably not. Bristleback. His Ags was definitely way too good. So it takes longer to accrue stacks, and it's a lower AoE on the Scepter. I don't mind these changes. That's fine. Definitely necessary. I was surprised that Bristle was only getting picked up in certain regions. The puh from the mid lane was incredibly powerful. As I sound nasally in this mic, this is a very appropriate patch change to be happening right now. Broodmother. Yeah, this wasn't even mentioned in the tooltip, but yet it did that, so I'm glad they got rid of that. A lot of people were going 1-4-4 on Broodmother, where they were like using the webs to obviously extend her reach, and then they were using the Silken Boa to kill you. And so Insatiable Hunger became a valuable 1-point skill. And that was the entirety of the idea of how to play Brood. So sometimes when they nerf these early levels, it's like it means more than others. And I would say this is one of the times where this matters a lot. Because I would guess, I'm going to do my Kyle guess here, that this is not enough of a 1 skill point anymore, and you'd probably have to level it twice. So now they get rid of the overall cooldown reduction and put it on the webs, which is obviously strictly worse by a large margin. The cooldown reduction worked on all of her other spells as well as items. And a lot of broods were buying like Greaves and Pipe. So having those on lower cooldown would be very nice. And then slight nerf there. Base attack speed on Centaur reduced by 10. Cooldown on Stampede increased by 10. I think with these two changes and the Vanguard nerf, we're still going to see a lot of Centaur, but he's just not nearly as broken. Dark Willow. The Aghanim Shard was definitely too strong, so that's a good nerf. And yeah, Dark Willow is definitely a bit overtuned, so don't mind minor nerfs. I don't think she needed anything crazy. Faces Void needs to do some lifting, bro, as he keeps getting his base strength over like 5 patches has been nerfed a lot. Back when he was broken like 4 patches ago, they also nerfed his base strength. So this guy's becoming a squishy motherfucker. Gotta stick to the YouTube guidelines, guys. Trigger cooldown increased from maximum 0.77 to maximum 0.83, and a minimum of 0.57 to a minimum of 0.62. So slight nerf there on Cold Snap. I guess they deemed that the ability to be the problem. And Alacrity got nerfed. Okay. Voker was picked a lot. I think any buffing things are kind of broken this patch. The Solar Crests, Alacrities, all that kind of stuff. So makes sense. Mystic Snake Scepter stone duration base from 1.5 to 1.3. Yeah, definitely needed a nerf. Medusa was going to be the most picked carry in the major before this changes that you're going to see here. Is she still going to see a lot of play? We are seeing Manta Aghanims on Medusa. We saw Manta Aghanims Agshard. So it's going to be similar to Sven, where he had the Ags patch. It's not as bad as that nerf to Sven because Medusa doesn't have to buy any more items to like supplement the build, but the timing will come out at level 20 rather than at level 15. And since a lot of carries are approximately level 15 at the 20-minute mark where the shard becomes available, the significance of this is that you cannot go Manta Ag Shard and at 20 minutes have the talent and just be unkillable because your Ag Shard gives you full mana. So with that being said, I think the hero will still see play, but I think these were very good nerfs. So Fire Snap Cookie reduced by a bit, and armor reduction on Little Shredder reduced. I'm just in before, guys. I'm going to do my classic in before. And I'm going to say that Little Shredder is going to, next patch, get reduced to 0.5. And then the patch after that, it's no longer going to reduce armor. Okay, guys? Just remember this. Remember this moment in this video. Timber Chain. Buying back while Timber Chain is being casted no longer teleports you back to where you died. And Quincy Crew likes to think the timing of this patch. Buying back while being tossed no longer teleports you back to where you died. Wow. Who would have thunk it? The feature of tiny buyback tossing has finally been changed. Warlock base strength reduced by 2. Also needs to hit the gym. Shadow Word does the same amount level 1, but it does strictly less levels 2, 3, 4. 10 times 18 is the same as 12 times 15. That's how I came up with that, guys. I know some of you don't do quick maths, but that is quick maths. Warlock was picked a decent amount in NA. A couple of regions prioritized him pretty highly, but I'm a bit surprised he got nerfed just because towards the end of the patch, he was falling out of favor. But that could just be because of AA, honestly, like being better. So since they nerfed AA, they thought maybe, Warlock would be the obvious next choice, and here we are. Wraith King. Yeah, last patch, by last patch I mean 7.29C, was the Wraith King Medusa patch. And Wraith King, okay, here's how the meta went, guys. You guys gonna follow me here? Centaur and Axe became really broken because of Vanguard. So these heroes were cutting waves at 5 minutes in, and they were getting ridiculously farmed. So then, Ancient Apparition became first pick every single game. Teams are also prioritizing stuff like Tiny to gank it, as well as Dark Willow, because Dark Willow, out of all the supports, can offer a shit ton of damage at level 6. So the meta became, because these super beefy offlaners that bought Vanguard, you had to have an immense amount of burst damage. So then, teams started drafting a shit ton of burst damage, so the only way to play the carry role was to be unkillable. And thus, we were left with Medusa and Wraith King as the 2 primary carries. I honestly think this patch is kind of Boar Snore. Boar Snore in 7 years ago. But it's okay. Like, I think the patch in terms of the Dota gameplay is pretty fun. It just became so much about burst and so much about killing the carry by proxy of like having to kill other people that it really limited the carry hero pool, and I didn't enjoy that very much in terms of a spectator caster as well as playing. So that's my overall impression of this patch. I was going to do a review going into the major, but I'll make that my next video. I'll make sure I have that out before the major starts. I did record this on the 28th, so I will be posting you guys with an update prior to the major starting on June 2nd, which is also my birthday. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. I'll make sure I try to release videos somewhat regularly throughout the major. I wanted to be doing a decent amount of content that's following along with the major. Thanks, guys, for watching. And please unsubscribe from Jenkins. I don't care about whether or not you subscribe to me. But just, if you have any decency left in you, please stop subscribing to Jenkins on Twitch as well as YouTube. Thank you.